The following episode contains spoilers for the short film Papers, Please, the short film. Give it a watch and then come back to the podcast.
Today on the show, we're going to watch a movie.
You heard right. This is Lore Party.
Welcome to Lore Party, the podcast that explores the stories, characters, and universes behind some of our favorite video games and sometimes short films.
Oh, I'm Jaden.
And I'm Lawrence.
And Lawrence, we are going to talk about something really cool today. We're going to talk about the short film Papers, Please.
Oh shit, this is a good one.
It is really, really cool. I'm not a big fan of fan films. When they pop up, you know...
Especially on YouTube.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. No, they're always really crappy. In fact, God, we just saw one when we were reviewing this movie. We just saw, like, what looked like a bunch of college kids with a green screen. And I was like, at first I was like, this is terrible. But yeah, when, I think was it Michael who posted it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael posted it into our group chat, and I was like, what is this? And then I watched it, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing.
I was like, how convenient is it that someone makes a Papers, Please short film the same time we're doing a Papers, Please podcast? Like, that lined up pretty damn well.
Especially when we were trying to figure out content for the week. We were like, oh god, I don't know how many more episodes we can make. And then it was just like, oh, new thing to talk about.
Thanks,
this
Russia.
Is freaking great. Yeah, thank you, you beautiful Russian/German people. I don't know, I saw some mixtures.
But one of the things that I thought was really cool was that you finally get a face to this border guard that's over here approving these passports.
That's true. You never get to see his face when you're playing the game.
Because it's like, I know that they put you in the place of the border guard, but like, if you're like me and you don't have a lot of sympathy for things, you're just, I'm like a bureaucrat at heart, so I'm just rejecting everybody that shouldn't be in here. But actually seeing the look on these people's faces and then the, reaction on the border guard's face when he's like, I want to let people in, but I can't.
A nice touch that they added in the short film, at least for me, and because we're watching it as we're recording this, by the way, is I love how he has a picture of his family in the corner, and it's, like, there at all times. That's something that I wish the game had, where it's like, this is just another thing that reminds you why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the annoying thing at the end of the day where you're like, oh god, I gotta feed my kid and water my uncle.
He should just put, like, sick, cold, and hungry above, like, each of their heads.
And it's crossed out in crayon. Just like, I fixed that. Oh, this one's popped up again.
But it's funny because this movie drops you off, like, right at some crucial points in the game. Like, some things that we talked about in our last episode with our, top 5 like morality issues. The guard Sergey Sergey, yeah.
I think so.
He's like right there at the very beginning, like smack dab in the face, asking you to make sure that his girlfriend makes it through that day and that he's indebted to you.
Yeah, which it's presented a lot different in this than it is in the game, but I kind of like it. They take some of the like more difficult choices for you, and then they just push them into one video, and I really like that.
Yeah, they mashed it into 10 minutes, and they did a really good job of it.
So I want to kind of circle back around. What was your initial reaction after you saw the film for the first time?
It was like, holy crap, but no. A little bit more than that. It was strange because it made this game was already one of those games where I was like, holy crap, this is really intense for just like, shuffling paperwork, but it really brought it to life. I think that they did a really good job of that. Everything from the one single terrorist attack at the border guard and just seeing how that affected everybody and just like the look on this guy's face the entire time as he's like approving and denying these
random
passports.
People.
Yeah. And it's like in the game when I'm playing it, I'm just like, man, fuck it, I need money.
Yeah, that's the sole motivation. Anytime I play it, I'm just like, yeah, but my kid needs to eat. I don't really care about your sob story. My kid wants his freaking crayon set. I gotta buy it for him.
But then seeing him actually do this and then how everything turns out, it's like, I want to let these people come through. But at the same time, there is actually a danger from like, letting things slide.
Yeah. Well, this movie does a really unique thing for me is like you and I are both firmly 100% in this is all about the money camp.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't even mention the money at all.
No.
Like it makes it about the people, which I really wish that's what the game did more of, because you feel sympathy for like Eliza, the character Eliza, when she comes through and she's like, I don't have my stuff and I can't come in, and my boyfriend / fiance / sugar daddy thing is waiting for me on the other side and I need to get there.
Maybe the problem is we're just heartless bastards.
Listen, I was avoiding that, all right? I know exactly that, but like, pretending I'm not, it makes me sleep better at night.
Like, the look on this guy's face is the exact opposite that I would have if I was in his position.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, sob story, denied.
I would say, Lawerence, I think you and I would do very well at the DMV. We'd just be very happy being like, oh, you want the boating license, huh?
Well, this is going to take...
Too bad.
It's going to take a long time. And, like, the funny thing, the cool thing I think that they did here is when you're getting the telegraph from the government, it's normally in the game, it's like, hey, this is a citation, you let the wrong person in, and here's a penalty. This one, it's telling you that, hey, these people from this specific country, we have too many of them now.
Yep.
And
we've reached our quota.
So you need to start denying them. And it comes right at the point where you're going to let Eliza in, who's Sergei's girlfriend.
Yeah, let's call it that. Let's call it that.
Yeah, we'll go with girlfriend. And it's after the point where she gives you, like, the story, like, hey, everybody I know is dead. Like, Sergei's the only person I have left.
And then the ticker tape just comes through, which is just a punch in the gut.
Oh, God.
And I loved it.
Because you made the promise to him at the beginning that you were going to let her through.
Yeah. And, like, I can even imagine... Like and you see the border security guard just like his face just says so much emotion without even moving.
Yeah.
And I love that because it's like you can tell he's thinking about like, oh God, I have to talk to Sergio about it. I have to tell him why. He's gonna be pissed, and I'm gonna have to deal with this issue. And this girl's gonna go home and probably die because I couldn't let her through. And just next person.
And I loved that they kept the story and removed the video game mechanic, because we don't know what will happen if he actually lets in the wrong people. I mean, minus, what happens later. Yeah. But, like, we don't know if he has a certain quota of people that he can let in or he's fired, or we don't know if it's like, hey, stop letting in these people from this country. If you let one more person in, then, like, your ass is out of here and, your family starves.
Well, I really liked how they didn't remove all the game mechanics.
Right.
They left in the inspecting the documents, which is the most important part. And they framed it in such an interesting way.
Yep.
I loved the way that I think they used a macro lens, if I had to guess, to focus in on the paperwork itself. And it was really cool just seeing like the focusing on an exact line and like the movement of the camera. And like anytime an important person showed up, they'd show the picture of the face and then they pan up to the person. And I'm like, this is great.
And it's good to know that the inspection machine that they installed into your booth is actually just your eyeballs.
Yeah. They were very, very proud of like, you can now afford an upgrade.
Yeah, it's like you can look at stuff. I like that they show him actually asking people about their documentation. Like, you have to shuffle through here and look and, like, make these, like, associations in the game. I like how it's just like, okay, how long are you going to be here? He's just going straight off of their documents right away. And they have all of this other information that's not present in the game. It's like, oh, this person's married, blah, blah, blah. They have this and they have that. Like,
it gives you context to the people you like that he's letting through or denying, and gives it more sense of the world.
Yeah. And he just looks sad the entire time.
Oh, gosh. They picked the right guy to play this.
Yeah.
The inspector. Like, he's so good.
Yeah, and I just feel like... I always pictured him being more, like, smug, I guess. Or just, like, not...
I pictured him being an idiot. I'll be honest. Like, I pictured just a dopey... Just like an overweight man, just be like, I'm just here to do my job and go home and see my wife and my uncle, who is clearly taking advantage of me.
Yeah, I couldn't picture this guy being a farmer beforehand.
Yeah, no, I pictured this guy being like he was on the front lines against Kolechia.
Yeah,
and then suddenly he get relegated to a desk job.
Yeah, because like he's got like the official like garb on and everything.
Yeah.
I do like that they added Georgie briefly.
I was just about to talk to that. That is the greatest single cameo of any movie ever. They just threw him in there, and I didn't even see him until like my second or third watch.
Yeah, it was like just a little blip in there. They just like show his name, and then he's getting removed. And in typical Georgie fashion, he still doesn't get in even in the short film.
The short film, and it's so great.
Yeah, and you know, like what I think that they did extremely well is how the movie ends when this person gives you the sob story, and it's like after you seems like you've got like a day full of sob stories because you go through the entire montage of everybody like, yeah, please let me in, or like getting mad and throwing stuff and whatever. And so the smallest error in the passport,
And it's the biggest consequence.
right, Rabinsky and Rabininski. No, they spell it wrong my whole life. And the before I even get into this,
Yeah.
that hit me because I deal with that shit.
Yeah?
Because there is an E after the W in my name.
Oh, yeah.
And it's on my birth certificate and not on my social security card. So like I run into this.
I want to check to see if I spelled it right, actually. I did. Yes.
I run into this all
I never
the time.
spell right.
Every time I start a new job, it's like, background check is taking kind of long, and I'm like, spell my name right, and I like spell like this. I'm like, oh shit. But it's that like little error, and he was just finally at the point where he's like, this isn't a big deal.
Yep.
Make sure you get it taken care of. Then you move on to the next person, and there's a fucking explosion. Just like rocks the booth. Which is cool because, like, in the game, normally it's like, there's a terrorist attack, just go home for the rest of the day.
Yep.
And take the day off, but you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So
This one, they show you, it's like, here's what you did, idiot. You blew up a building.
Yeah, there's like, it's just like, oh, sweet, terrorist attack, half day, like in the video game.
Yeah, you're like, all right, cool. Anthrax alarm went off, I'm going home.
Right, I'm just going to go home and chill for the rest of the day. I don't care about pay. This one, it's just like, oh my god. Not only does like it blows up the person that's inside the building with you, when you walk out you see.
So question, was the wife a suicide bomber?
I think it was the wife was the suicide bomber and the husband was the assailant.
That's what I feel like it was.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% because you see her like her
burnt up
scarf. Yeah, floating. So I'm like, did he throw a bomb? Because in the game there's no suicide bombers, they throw the bombs.
Yeah, well there are.
Wait, no, yeah, you're right, there was. Yeah, I'm just thinking of like the first couple of attacks where it was bombs.
Yeah, that was the run. It's like the shot put.
Yeah, they do like the spin and the wind up and the toss, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? Come on.
Yeah, it's like they always throw the bomb. They get pretty close and then throw the bomb after they got shot like twice.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like you just see the burned remnants of her scarf, and then you see her husband just shooting people.
Yeah,
it's funny because I mean it's not funny, but it's crazy because that like little small thing caused such a huge ripple effect. It blew up somebody in the booth.
Yep.
And then Sarah J was actually killed because of that small mistake.
Yep. I mean, I would assume the inspector is killed as well.
Right.
It ends on a cliffhanger, but like, they leave it kind of open ended.
Right. Because I mean, you do have your standard issue border guard pistol on your desk.
Yeah.
But it's cooler in the game because it's like an assault rifle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, where did the pistol come from? This is great. Like,
Yeah.
This is much.
They should have kept that part authentic. Like you just have like this AK-47 and you just go out there. But
him stumbling around with a giant gun, that's like he clearly doesn't know how to use, would have been great. But I guess they weren't going for this. This film took a little bit of liberty. Like, this guy is not the guy that you and I pictured.
No,
because this guy is an actual competent security person, whereas we were picturing like da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right, and he has like sympathy for other people. So I think it's cool because you get to step a little bit out of yourself. Like, you're playing this and you're just like, oh, these decisions suck.
Yeah.
But ultimately you're like, this is just a video game. Seeing him like, oh, fuck, I have to actually talk to these people. I have to like see the look on everyone's face because everybody's just sad and poor.
Oh god, the first guy he comes in he denies, like the worker, who's just like, no, please, I'll get the work done. Click, and it's like,
hell, even when you have to deny Eliza, I was just like, oh fuck, like it's horrible because you made a promise to someone, and like they were like, I'm in your debt,
and then you screw them.
right? And I mean, it's kind of like a good bad decision in here because she survived because she got denied, but now everybody
I didn't think about that. That's so true. She lived
because of that. But then again, also it wouldn't have gone this way if you hadn't made that choice.
Oh, yep.
To let this lady in. And I feel like the lady was the suicide bomber because she was like super duper nervous with everything, and like the story, the way she was telling that story, it was just like
suspicious,
and it was so like fabricated. Like she's like, oh shit, I need to say this, just in case someone starts to get suspicious about documentation.
And you know, she's just my husband. It's like, shut up, lady.
Right, I have to get out there. Help me. But like going back to Eliza, she tells you that everybody else that she knows is dead, and it's sad because now everybody she loves is actually dead.
Yep.
And that's partially because of you.
Yeah, it's your fault. This world is terrible.
And she gives you a memento to remember her by. So if you're not dead, you're going to feel like you're dead when you come back to work.
Do you think this has the potential for a further like adaptation, like a further series?
Oh yeah. I could actually see them making like either like a full-length movie, or at least you could get a pretty gritty Netflix series out of this.
Honestly, yeah. Like I would love to see like the aftermath of that, like the explosion goes off and that guy, the inspector. We keep referring to him as us because we've played this game so often. It feels like we've lived his life.
Right.
But yeah, the inspector like pulls out. He managed to get a shot off, and that guy dies. And then like, I'd love to see him like going home to his wife, and like that would be the interaction that I missed from the real game. Is just like hearing him like his son being like, "Daddy, I want the crayons for my birthday," and you're like,
"Not today."
Not today.
Yeah.
Which that went nowhere. I was very upset about that. I wish that it had like your son's like, your son is disappointed and wants you to leave.
I'd be like, well, too bad.
Yeah.
I almost got blown up and shot today, so fuck your crowns.
It's been a rough day, kid.
Yeah. I would like to see it, and then him having to come back and confront Eliza at some point, because she's going to be upset.
Yeah.
She's going to hey, it's your fault that because it's your fault. Like, this game or this short film actually does a really good job of like letting you know that this shit is your fault.
Yeah, this is all on you.
Yeah, like you didn't. If you would have just stuck to your guns like you did with everybody else, everything would have been fine. But the second you just are like, you know what?
I can slack off, and then no, it blows up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of plot points I could think of them even trying to adapt, like your boss. Like having your boss show up.
Especially after this.
Like him blaming like you for the explosion, or be like, there will be an investigation. I will have someone's head for this.
Because people died.
Yeah.
Like there a good amount of people that were laying dead on the ground.
If I were writing the sequel to this, I would write in like your boss being like, there were 4 people killed, and then the inspector goes, no, there were 8, and he goes, oh, those weren't Ostoskins. They don't count.
Right.
They're not people.
And you get that vibe from watching this too, just from getting the like, hey, you know what? These people, we have enough.
Yeah, like there's a quota has been filled.
Yeah, I will say I appreciate the detail in this.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed from watching it again was they had the Cobra Stan passport.
Yeah.
Before Georgie before he was denied again. So like they did, whoever made this really loved Papers, Please, and played it a bunch of times and pulled out these like small details, but he also was able to build this like bigger world around it.
Absolutely. Although I was a little upset, there was no brothel slips placed on the table. Where is the realism, creators, please?
Right. Could have gotten one brothel slip.
Just one little like slide, him just like maybe like picking up and like throwing it on the ground during the montage, like, ugh, like get this away from me.
Or at least a stolen passport or some poisoned, callback. Instead, all I got was an explosion and then Sergi getting killed.
Oh, poor Sergi.
Yes.
I could never keep him alive in my game, so it's fine.
Yeah, I know. This is the part of the game the part of the movie that most aligns with me playing the game. Sergi dies.
Yep.
And Georgie goes to jail.
You always pick on poor Georgie.
Hey.
Every single time. Just let him through, man.
Not in this game. Not with Cobra Stand, even though it did look better than what he made in the game. I can definitely see them building a bigger world now.
Yep.
Like this kind of it, like sparks my curiosity about like other facets of Papers, Please, and like kind of going a little bit more in depth with it. So
I mean, this whole thing just goes to show that you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge a game by its graphics. Like,
right.
if I had known that this game was going to be as deep as it is, I would have picked it up a lot sooner.
This definitely opens up like kind of like a whole new world to me, and I don't know. I'm actually curious to look at other aspects of it. Because like they didn't even touch on like, you know, the actual terrorist organizations, or you know, some of the other topics that, you know, we covered in our last episode.
Absolutely.
All right, make sure that you know, you can check us out at loreparty.com. You can also check us out on the Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or wherever you get your podcast fix.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for listening.
Bye.